Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this video. My name is Caleb Holberg. Today I am going to be reviewing the Nintendo Entertainment System Advantage Joystick Controller. So, I just picked this up the other day. Thought it'd be a cool accessory to review. So why don't I get started? Alright, why don't we just go over the features. First off, we have a lot of buttons here, you will notice. Whole lot of buttons. If you're familiar with the regular NES controller, which I am assuming you are, you'll know that it only has 4 buttons on it. This has more buttons and weird looking knobs and a switch. What are those all about? Well, I will tell you that now. So to start out, we've got the usual A and B buttons. They feel really nice to press, just by the way. Real nice arcade style buttons. Big, you get your fingers pushing those. And then you've got your start and select start buttons, just like the original controller. Then you've got, that's about it for the buttons in terms of original features. We've also got this switch here, which I'll talk about that now. This is kind of a unique feature to the Advantage joystick because you'll notice it has 2 plugs to plug into the console. Oops, sorry about that. The reason for that is I am pretty sure that if you want to play a game 2-player, you plug both of these in to the console. If you're just playing 1-player, you plug one of them in. And if you're playing 2-player, you switch it to 2. First player gets done with his turn, his or her turn. Gets done with their turn, you hand it to the other player, they go. So it's kind of like you've got 2 controllers plugged in, but it's just one controller. See, that only works though for games where you actually are just taking turns. No co-op games. This isn't going to work with co-op games unless you have 2. Of course, you can still have one person using the joystick, one using the controller. Really, this is basically just another controller. Don't let the double plugs throw you off. They're just an extra feature. Alright. Now we get to these turbo buttons. What are those all about? Well, you probably already know that some controllers have turbo features where, let's say, you're playing Mega Man or something where you have to press a button over and over and over again. Shoot over and over again. Well, with a normal controller, you'd be doing this. If you want to go rapid fire, that gets a little bit cumbersome to have to push that thing over and over. Well, what turbo does is you hit this button, push that down, then you just hold B and it shoots over and over and over again without you having to press it over and over again. Now, I personally don't use this feature very much. I don't mind doing this number, but for those of you hardcore gamers or people who like it easy on your fingers, this is a very useful feature. These knobs here change the speed of the turbo. So let's say down here, it's going to be sort of the equivalent of this, or thereabouts. And then if you turn it up, you get faster and faster until you get up to like that. And that's about what it does. So, it's really a handy feature if you think about it. And then, what is this slow button all about? Well, what this does is basically, if this is pushed down, it's going to pause the game, unpause it, pause it, unpause it, pause it, unpause it, and repeat, do the same thing over and over. So basically what it does is makes the game sort of slow down very much, and if it's a very fast-paced game, you will have an easier time navigating it, theoretically. I also don't use this a whole lot. I don't use the extra features a whole lot, honestly. But yeah, it's there if you need it. It's not good for any games that kind of switch to a different screen when you pause it, because it's gonna say you're playing. For example, I tried this on Super Mario Bros. 2, Super Mario USA, and had pause or slow enabled. I didn't know it. Kept pausing, going to the level. When you pause the game, it goes to the level, shows which level you're on. Pauses over and over. I think something's wrong with the game, but turns out this was enabled. So it's not very good for games where it goes to a different screen when it pauses. If you're playing something like, say, Pac-Man or Donkey Kong, it's just where the screen just freezes when you pause. That's about what it works for. Alright, now we also have a very, very nice joystick I want to talk about. This is a great joystick. One of the best I have ever encountered. Now, an interesting thing to note is that the joystick is on the left. I am actually used to having it more like this, using the joystick with my right hand. I'm right-handed, so that's what I'm used to. I've played a lot of little consoles with joysticks on the right and buttons on the left, but this has joystick on the left, so it takes a little getting used to if you're not used to it, but it's a lot the similar layout as the regular NES controller, which actually I have right here. We can compare, and now we get to the aesthetic part. You can see these are very similar in style. I really like how they did this. It's really cool looking. So this, you've got your A and B in their little gray squares. You got A and B. They have the same sort of gray square thing going. A and B are kind of the letters are in the same sort of spot, bottom right corner. Yeah, it's a really cool design. I love how they just kind of stuck with their design from their original controller. This one still has the original tag on it. These were released in 1987, so they've been around for a good long while, and they've stood the test of time. So, yeah, that's almost all I have. I want to say that the cord is nice and long. Not going to have any problems. You won't need an extension cord, theoretically, unless your couch is like 50 feet away from your TV, which is unlikely. So anyway, great joystick option for the NES. If you're going to get a joystick for the NES, you're thinking about playing Pac-Man. Pac-Man, by the way, is like the game to play this with on the NES. That and Galaga, those arcade sort of games, they were made for joysticks. So this is a really good investment if you're willing to pay the extra few dollars rather than get a junky one. Those ones with the triggers. I do not possess one of those because honestly, I think they're pieces of garbage. But this thing is a real gem, if you ask me. So yeah, I think it's a really nice piece of gaming equipment. And that is really all I have for you. One last thing I want to point out here is this thing is fully compatible with the NES Classic Edition if you are in possession of one of those. However, you will need an adapter to convert from the original Nintendo plug to a Wii Classic controller. But that is one thing that is worth noting. I very much enjoy using this on the NES Classic Edition too. So, that is all I have for you. Don't forget to like and subscribe, comment if you have any questions or comments. Like it if you liked it, subscribe if you want to see more. I will do my best to make more videos. Anyway, aside from that, we will see you in the next video.